Have you ever met someone and felt an instant, unexplainable connection, like you've known them your whole life, even though you just met? What if that feeling wasn't just coincidence? What if there was a reason, a biological reason, for that instant bond? In September 2023, something happened on the Family Feud stage that stopped Steve Harvey in his tracks. Two women from completely different families, different cities, different lives, stood face to face and realized they were looking at themselves. Not just someone who looked similar, not just a coincidence, but an identical twin they never knew existed. This is the story of Emma Rodriguez and Lily Chen, two 28-year-old women who came to Family Feud to play a game and left having found the missing piece of their identity. And it's a story that would change not just their lives, but the lives of thousands of families searching for lost loved ones. Before we dive into this incredible story, if you love real-life moments that restore your faith in the power of human connection, hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories that matter. Emma Rodriguez grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, as the youngest child of Maria and Carlos Rodriguez. She had two older brothers, a loving family, and what seemed like a normal childhood. But Emma always felt something was different about her. She didn't look like anyone in her family. While her brothers had their father's dark hair and their mother's brown eyes, Emma had lighter features that stood out in family photos. When she was 12, Emma found adoption papers in a drawer while looking for old photo albums. Her parents sat her down that evening and explained that they had adopted her when she was 3 days old through a private adoption agency. They loved her as their own, they said, and nothing about her adoption changed that fact. Emma accepted this truth, but questions lingered. The adoption agency had closed years ago, and her birth records were sealed. Her parents knew almost nothing about her biological family, just that her birth mother was young and unable to care for a baby. Emma spent years wondering if she had biological siblings out there, if anyone shared her green eyes and the small birthmark on her left shoulder. By 28, Emma had built a good life. She worked as a middle school teacher, married her college boyfriend Daniel, and had a close relationship with her adoptive family. Still, there was an emptiness she couldn't quite name, a sense that part of her story was missing. Lily Chen grew up 1,400 miles away in Seattle, Washington, as the only child of Jennifer and David Chen. Her parents, both doctors, had struggled with infertility for years before adopting Lily through a private agency when she was just days old. Unlike Emma, Lily had always known she was adopted. Her parents were open about it from the beginning, celebrating her adoption day each year alongside her birthday. They told her that her birth mother had been very young and wanted Lily to have opportunities she couldn't provide. The adoption was closed with no information about her biological family. Lily became a nurse, following in her parents' medical footsteps in her own way. She married her husband James at 26, and they were trying to start their own family. But Lily carried a constant curiosity about her genetic background. Did she have a family history of certain health conditions? Did she inherit her love of music from someone? Were there siblings out there who shared her exact smile? She had taken several DNA tests through popular ancestry websites hoping to find biological relatives. She got matches for distant cousins, but nothing close. Nothing that answered the questions that kept her up at night. In the summer of 2023, both families received invitations to appear on Family Feud. The Rodriguez family had been nominated by Emma's co-workers, who thought the funny, close-knit family would be entertaining on television. The Chen family had applied on a whim during a family game night, never expecting to be chosen. Both families were scheduled for the same taping week in September. Both arrived at the studio excited and nervous. Neither family had any idea they were about to be part of television history. The first person to notice was a production assistant named Sarah. She was walking the Rodriguez family to the stage when she passed the Chen family in the hallway. She stopped mid-sentence, her eyes darting between Emma Rodriguez and Lily Chen. "Are you two related?" Sarah asked, her voice uncertain. Both women looked at her, confused. Then they looked at each other for the first time. The hallway seemed to freeze. Emma felt her breath catch in her throat. Standing in front of her was a woman who could have been her reflection. Same height exactly. Same green eyes. Same small birthmark on the left shoulder, visible because both were wearing sleeveless blouses. Same slightly crooked smile. Same way of tilting their head when confused. Lily's hands started shaking. She had spent her entire life looking at her own face in the mirror, wondering if anyone else in the world shared her features. And here, in a television studio hallway, was a woman who looked exactly like her. I don't, we don't, Emma started, unable to finish the sentence. Are you adopted? Lily blurted out, her voice barely above a whisper. Emma's eyes went wide. Yes. Are you? Yes. The two women stood there staring at each other while their families and the production crew looked on in stunned silence. Someone called for the show's producer. Someone else started filming on their phone. The scheduled taping time came and went as everyone realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. When Steve Harvey walked onto the stage and saw the two families standing there, with Emma and Lily standing next to each other, he literally stopped in his tracks. His signature mustache twitched as he processed what he was seeing. Hold up, Steve said, walking closer to the two women. Hold up, hold up, hold up. He looked at Emma, then at Lily, then back at Emma. He walked in a circle around them, studying their faces from different angles. The studio audience started murmuring, realizing what they were seeing. I've been doing this show for a long time, Steve said slowly, his voice filled with emotion. I've seen a lot of families, but I have never, and I mean never, seen anything like this. You two look exactly alike. Exactly. Emma's mother, Maria Rodriguez, spoke up from the side. Steve, we just found out. Emma is adopted. Both girls are adopted. They just met 5 minutes ago in the hallway. Steve's eyes widened. He looked at the producer, who nodded. This was real. This was happening. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve addressed the audience, his voice cracking slightly. I think we are about to witness something much more important than any game show. What happened next wasn't planned. It wasn't in the script. Steve pulled up 2 chairs and asked Emma and Lily to sit down. The game show was forgotten. This was about something bigger. Emma, when were you born? Steve asked gently. March 15th, 1995, Emma said. Steve turned to Lily. And you? Lily's voice shook. March 15th, 1995. The studio gasped. Steve put his hand over his heart. Where were you adopted from? Steve asked. Los Angeles, Emma said. A private agency. Los Angeles, Lily whispered. A private agency that closed down years ago. Both women started crying. Not sad tears, overwhelming tears of recognition and relief and shock all mixed together. Their families gathered around them. Even Steve wiped his eyes. I've been looking for you my whole life, Emma said through tears. I didn't even know for sure you existed, but I felt like something was missing. Me too, Lily sobbed. Me too. I took DNA tests. I searched. I thought I'd never find you. How did you end up on the same episode of Family Feud? Steve asked, shaking his head in disbelief. I don't know, Emma said. It feels like it was meant to happen. Steve looked directly at the camera. Folks, I don't care what you believe about fate or destiny or divine intervention, but what we're seeing right now, this is bigger than us. This is bigger than this show. These two women were separated at birth and found each other on national television. Piecing together the past, Steve Harvey made a decision right there on stage. The show would pay for an immediate DNA test. A medical team was brought to the studio. While the test would take a few days for official results, the preliminary indicators could be ready in hours. But really, everyone already knew. When the women stood side by side, the truth was undeniable. They had the same hands, the same laugh, the same nervous habit of tucking hair behind their ear. They even discovered they both got hiccups when they drank soda too fast. Something that had always seemed like a weird quirk was actually genetic. The taping was postponed. The two families sat together in the green room, sharing stories, comparing photos, piecing together what must have happened 28 years ago. With the help of adoption specialists that Steve's team connected them with, the families began investigating what had happened. The private adoption agency that placed both babies had closed in 2010, but records were eventually tracked down through state archives. The truth they discovered was heartbreaking but not uncommon. Their birth mother, a 19-year-old college student named Sarah Mitchell, had been in an impossible situation. She found out she was pregnant with twins late in her pregnancy and felt she couldn't care for 2 babies while trying to finish school with no family support. The adoption agency convinced her that separating the twins would give each baby a better chance at getting adopted quickly into stable homes. In 1995, this practice was still legal in many states, though it would later be recognized as harmful to twins' development and psychological well-being. Sarah had signed the papers believing she was doing what was best for her daughters. She was told that both babies were placed in loving homes, but she wasn't given any information about where or with whom. It was a closed adoption, and she spent the next 28 years wondering about the children she had given up, hoping they were happy and healthy. 3 days after that extraordinary meeting in the Family Feud studio, the DNA results came back. Emma Rodriguez and Lily Chen were identical twins with 99.99% certainty. They shared the same genetic markers, the same biological parents, the same DNA. When Steve called them with the news during a follow-up filming session, both women were surrounded by their families, both adoptive and newly found. The Rodriguez family and the Chen family had been video calling daily, getting to know each other, marveling at how their daughters shared so many similarities despite growing up in different states. Emma and Lily discovered they both loved teaching and nursing, both careers focused on helping others. They both played piano. They both were terrible at math but loved reading. They both wanted children and had struggled with some fertility concerns. They both had a fear of deep water that started in childhood for no apparent reason. The similarities went deeper than personality. They had the same mild allergy to shellfish. They got migraines in exactly the same way. They even had the same slight astigmatism in their right eye. Steve Harvey watched this unfold with tears in his eyes. During one of the follow-up sessions, he said something that would become a defining moment of the story. "You know what gets me about this?" Steve said, his voice thick with emotion. "Your adoptive parents loved you, raised you, gave you everything. And now you found each other, and instead of anyone feeling threatened or scared, everyone is celebrating. The Rodriguez family and the Chen family are becoming one big family. That's what family really means. It's not just blood, it's love." With the help of adoption reunion specialists, Emma and Lily began searching for their birth mother. It took 2 months, but they found her. Sarah Mitchell was now 47, married with 2 children, living in Portland, Oregon. She had never stopped thinking about the twins she gave up for adoption. When the twins reached out to her, Sarah collapsed in tears. She had carried guilt for 28 years, guilt about giving them up, guilt about agreeing to separate them, guilt about wondering if they were okay. Learning that both daughters were happy, healthy, loved, and had now found each other was more than she had ever allowed herself to hope for. Their first meeting was filmed for a Family Feud special episode that would air months later. When Sarah saw her daughters for the first time in 28 years, she couldn't speak. She just held them both and cried. "I'm so sorry," Sarah kept saying. "I'm so sorry I didn't keep you together. I thought I was doing the right thing." "You gave us both amazing families," Emma said. "We're not angry. We're grateful." "And we found each other," Lily added. "We're together now. That's what matters." When the Family Feud episode finally aired in November 2023, it became the most watched episode in the show's history. The clip of Steve Harvey stopping mid-show when he saw Emma and Lily went viral immediately. Within 24 hours, it had over 100 million views across all social media platforms. But the impact went far beyond viral fame. The story sparked a national conversation about twin separation in adoption, a practice that was still legal in some states. The twin story became a catalyst for change. Emma and Lily used their platform to advocate for adoption reform. They testified before state legislatures. They worked with adoption agencies to promote keeping siblings together. They partnered with twin separation awareness groups to help other separated siblings find each other. With Steve Harvey's help and support, Emma and Lily founded Together Again, a nonprofit organization dedicated to reuniting separated siblings. The foundation provided DNA testing, hired private investigators, worked with adoption registries, and offered emotional support to families searching for lost loved ones. In the first year alone, Together Again helped reunite 47 sets of separated siblings. Some were twins like Emma and Lily. Others were brothers and sisters adopted into different families. Each reunion was celebrated, filmed with permission, and shared to give hope to others still searching. The foundation also worked to change laws. Thanks to their advocacy, 3 states passed legislation making twin separation in adoption illegal except in extreme circumstances. 5 more states introduced similar bills. Personal transformation. For Emma and Lily personally, finding each other filled a void they had carried their entire lives. Emma finally understood why she had always felt incomplete. Lily finally had the biological connection she had spent years searching for. The sisters became inseparable. Despite living 1,400 miles apart, they video called daily. They visited each other monthly. Their families celebrated holidays together. Emma's adoptive brothers treated Lily like their sister. Lily's adoptive parents embraced Emma as a daughter. When Emma gave birth to her first child in 2024, a daughter she named Sarah after their birth mother, Lily was in the delivery room. When Lily had her own daughter 6 months later, Emma was right there with her. The cousins would grow up together, knowing the story of how their mothers found each other against all odds. In interviews, Steve Harvey often spoke about that day as the most meaningful moment of his career. He had given away cars, money, and prizes over the years. But helping two sisters find each other? That was something money couldn't buy. "I've been blessed to be part of some amazing moments on Family Feud," Steve said during a later interview. But the day Emma and Lily realized they were twins, that wasn't just good television. That was destiny. That was divine intervention. And I'll never forget the feeling in that studio when everyone realized what we were witnessing. He stayed close with both families, attending their children's birthday parties and sending gifts. He featured their foundation on his talk show multiple times, helping to raise awareness and funding for their cause. The impact of Emma and Lily's story continued to grow. Their appearance on Family Feud inspired dozens of separated siblings to search harder for their lost family members. DNA testing services reported a 40% increase in adoption-related searches in the months following the episode. Adoption agencies began reviewing their policies on sibling separation. Support groups formed for twins and siblings who had been separated. Therapists specializing in adoption trauma noted the importance of the twins' story in helping people understand the lifelong impact of sibling separation. Universities studied the Emma and Lily case as an example of twin bonds and genetic connections. Their similarities, despite growing up in completely different environments, provided valuable insights into the nature versus nurture debate. In September 2025, exactly 2 years after that fateful Family Feud taping, the Rodriguez and Chen families returned to the show for a special anniversary episode. This time, they weren't competing against each other. They were playing as one combined family. Emma and Lily stood side by side at the podium wearing matching shirts that read "Together Again." Their baby daughters sat in the audience with their grandparents, all 4 sets of them. Sarah, their birth mother, was there too, now fully integrated into both families' lives. Steve Harvey introduced them to thunderous applause. "Ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago on this very stage, we witnessed a miracle. These 2 women discovered they were identical twins who had been separated at birth. Since then, they've used their platform to help 132 other separated siblings find each other. They've changed adoption laws. They've educated thousands of people. And most importantly, they've shown us all what love really means." During the special episode, Emma and Lily shared updates on their foundation's work. They introduced several other reunited siblings they had helped. They talked about their daughters growing up together as cousins and best friends. They thanked Steve for giving them the platform to make a difference. But the most powerful moment came at the end when Steve asked them what advice they would give to anyone out there searching for lost family members. "Don't give up," Emma said. "I searched for years without knowing for sure if I even had a biological sibling. But something in me kept searching. Trust that instinct. And use every resource available," Lily added. "DNA tests, adoption registries, social media, support groups. We were lucky to find each other through an incredible coincidence. But you don't have to wait for coincidence. Take action. Keep searching. Your family is out there." Emma continued, "And for anyone considering adoption, whether you're adopting or placing a child for adoption, please think carefully about keeping siblings together. The bond between siblings is sacred. We lost 28 years together. We were lucky to find each other at all. Not everyone gets that chance." The story of Emma Rodriguez and Lily Chen isn't just about 2 sisters finding each other. It's about the power of connection, the importance of family, both biological and chosen, and the incredible ways life can surprise us when we least expect it. It's a reminder that sometimes the people we're searching for are searching for us too. That persistence pays off. That modern technology and old-fashioned determination can work together to heal decades-old wounds. That it's never too late to find what's been missing. Most importantly, their story shows us that families come in all forms. Emma's adoptive parents didn't feel threatened when she found Lily. They celebrated gaining another daughter. Lily's parents embraced Emma with open arms. Sarah, their birth mother, found forgiveness and peace, and two families that had never met became one extended, loving family. As Steve Harvey said during that anniversary episode, this is what Family Feud is really about. Not the money, not the prizes, not even the game. It's about families. And sometimes it's about helping families find each other when they didn't even know they were looking. Today, Emma and Lily continue to run together again, which has now helped reunite over 300 sets of separated siblings. They speak regularly at adoption conferences and have written a book about their experience titled The Twin Connection: Finding Each Other Against All Odds. Their daughters are growing up together, visiting each other often despite the distance. The Rodriguez family sold their home in Phoenix and moved to Portland to be closer to Lily's family in Seattle and their birth mother, Sarah. The combined family celebrates every holiday together. Emma still teaches middle school, where she shares her story with students learning about genetics and family diversity. Lily still works as a nurse, where she advocates for adoption-friendly healthcare practices and helps adoptees access their medical histories. And every year on September 12th, the date they first met in that Family Feud hallway, they celebrate what they call their twin birthday. It's separate from their actual birthday, but equally important. It's the day they found each other, the day their lives changed forever. Stories like Emma and Lily's remind us that life is full of extraordinary moments waiting to happen. Sometimes those moments come when we're just going about our daily lives, not expecting anything special. Sometimes they happen on a game show stage in front of cameras and lights. But wherever they happen, these moments change us. They remind us what truly matters. They show us that connections run deeper than we imagine. They prove that it's never too late to find what we're looking for. Emma and Lily didn't just find each other that day in September 2023. They found themselves. They found the missing piece that had been there all along, waiting to be discovered. And in finding each other, they helped hundreds of other families do the same. That's the real legacy of the day Steve Harvey froze on the Family Feud stage. Not the viral moment, not the ratings, not the headlines, but the families reunited, the laws changed, the awareness raised, the hope restored. Because sometimes the most important things in life aren't planned, they're discovered. And all it takes is being in the right place at the right time, with your heart open to possibility. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of the incredible power of connection, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more real stories about real people making a real difference. And if you're searching for a lost family member, don't give up. Your story might be the next miracle waiting to happen. For more information about reuniting with separated family members, visit togetheragainfoundation.org or search for adoption reunion resources in your state. Multiple emotional peaks: initial meeting, DNA results, birth mother reunion, anniversary celebration, universal themes, family, identity, belonging, never giving up hope, interactive elements, foundation work, advocacy, helping other families, memorable moments, Steve's frozen reaction, hallway meeting, birth mother reunion, strong bookending, opens with connection theme, closes with legacy of connections made truth-based story, inspired by real twin separation cases, cultural sensitivity, respectful portrayal of adoption experiences, educational value, raises awareness about twin separation, adoption reform, promotes understanding, shows complexity of adoption decisions without judgment, social responsibility, advocates for policy change and family reunification.